Guyana and Venezuela's president met face-to-face earlier today in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The meeting has been organized by CARICOM and the Community of Latin American and Caribbean States, CELAC. Brazil's President Luiz da Silva, St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister Ralph Gonçalves, and members of the United Nations are attending the meeting as well. According to reports, the meeting's general agenda aims at diffusing tension regarding the territorial dispute between Guyana and Venezuela over Essequibo. Essequibo is a territory controlled and administered by the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. You are watching The Final Takeaway. Let's give you a few seconds to subscribe to this channel before we dive in. It is easy, it is free. Simply hit the black button, the black subscribe button below, and become a part of our growing community. Welcome back. As far as the specific itemized topics for discussion today, we are awaiting reports following the meeting, and we also don't wish to speculate. What we do know so far is that both of the leaders arrived in St. Vincent and the Grenadines earlier today, and the discussion should be underway as we speak. Guyana's opposition leader, Aubrey Norton, called on the government to provide a meeting agenda. That's the Guyana government, but those efforts seemed futile. We do know that there were some differences between the two heads of government as to the purpose of the meeting. According to Irfaan, Guyana's president, he will not be discussing the border controversy since the matter is now in the capable hands of the International Court of Justice. On the other hand, and based on reports coming out of Caracas, Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro intends to make the border dispute the primary focus of the meeting. President Ali spent the past few days reiterating that the border issue is not up for negotiation or discussion. He noted that if Maduro wishes to speak about the dispute, this would be against the CARICOM framework for the meeting in the first place. The goal of CARICOM and the Community of Latin American and Caribbean States is to get the two countries to work on de-escalating the controversy. Things escalated last week and the week prior, beginning on December 1, when Venezuela reported it would go ahead with a special national election for the citizens to determine whether the country should seize Essequibo. The special election, also called a referendum, was held on December 3rd. Venezuela officially approved the referendum the next day, claiming over 95% voter turnout and an overwhelming support for Venezuela to go ahead and take Essequibo by force. Last week, President Maduro took further steps to indicate plans to take Essequibo. His government appointed a general to run the new Guyana Essequibo state, which they call Guyana Essequibo. At a publicly televised briefing, Maduro informed the citizens and the world about steps to make and pass laws to get the annexation of Essequibo, Guyana on the way. He declared Venezuela's intention to start granting permits to companies to begin exploring offshore the disputed territory for oil and gas. Going a step further and aggravating the situation even more, Maduro warned that current companies are conducting oil exploration without his country's permission. They're conducting oil exploration in Essequibo, the disputed region, without Venezuela's permission. The president informed the nation that these companies have 3 months to get out of their territory. And just a bit of a backstory and some context. Essequibo is a territory in Guyana, and that territorial dispute between Venezuela and Guyana was settled in 1899 in Paris by a tribunal of jurists who determined the land boundary, and it was decided that Essequibo would be Guyana's territory. Initially, Venezuela accepted the award, but it went back on its agreement and decided that Essequibo belongs to Venezuela. And ever since then, this dispute has been going on. So all of this that Maduro was doing last week, all of this led things to climax. All of the actions by Maduro are seen as a breach of Venezuela's legal and moral responsibilities to refrain from doing anything that would be considered antagonistic or deepening the rift between itself and Guyana. On December 1, 2023, the International Court of Justice ordered Venezuela to avoid actions that could aggravate the dispute and make it more difficult to resolve. Maduro's conduct is taken as a blatant disregard for the court's order and international law. The threats to move ahead with annexation caused tension to soar between the two nations, driving fear among the Guyanese people and stakeholders. The Guyanese people feared their country was in a warpath with Venezuela. About 3 days later, news that Guyana and Venezuela's presidents agreed to meet today sent shockwaves throughout the world. No one saw this coming. Is today the day of reckoning, so to speak? We will find out later. Practically every stakeholder and Guyanese are glued to their social media awaiting word on what went down at the meeting today. That includes the final takeaway. We will bring you updates as soon as we have something substantial to report. Thanks for watching. Remember to hit the subscribe button below, share the videos, and leave your comments. We are always delighted to hear from you, hear what you're thinking, hear what your views are. Every person's opinion matters. See you in the next video.